Welcome to another episode of the 5-Alarm Boomer Blogger series, and I am so excited to showcase this website I'm showing you right here, gypsynester.com. Veronica and David. I'm going to scroll through this website. As you can see right now, they are on an Asian cruise, and I'm going to just scroll through. They've got fabulous pictures of food, high tea, pampering, cooking classes, tours in Hong Kong, and in their stateroom on their cruise. Here they are, a great picture of these two. They are traveling around the world. They sold their house, and they're capturing every moment on their blog. And I am so excited to have this extremely energetic, interesting, fun couple on the show today. Enjoy.
We decided to kind of hit the road and see the world, but it's more whatever anybody decides to, be their gypsy heart once they're an empty nester. It was the kind of thing where our youngest went off to college, and we were kind of sitting there going, now what? And it kind of grew on its own then, because we didn't really plan, beyond kind of the next thing over the horizon, basically, I guess. So it kind of took on a life of its own as we went along, and it's grown as we've gone, and we've kind of learned how to, make it into something people want to read and see and look at now.
Absolutely. So you said, okay, you have 3 children, right?
Right.
Yes.
And are they all in college or graduating?
No,
from college?
our youngest just graduated from college.
Congrats.
And then our oldest just turned, she's over 25.
No, they're all out of school. They're all done, and they're on with their lives and gainfully employed and all that good stuff.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
Good job, Mom and Dad. Okay, so they're off. They went off to college, and you said, okay, what should we do? And you actually sold your house, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then how did that happen? And what was your first trip?
I guess to start at the kind of beginning, it was, I was a complete homebody, a complete helicopter mother, hovered over everything my kids did. And I actually, and don't laugh at me, but I actually worked at the school that they went to. I mean, I was on them, So basically, the idea with my son graduating and me going back to my desk and none of my kids being at the school, it was just overwhelming. It was just really hard for me to even think about doing. And I knew I had to jump out of my comfort zone. I knew I had to do something huge and different and wild. And luckily, David is already different and wild.
Well, and there was more to
Thanks,
it.
David.
But there was a little more to it than that. We were living on St. Croix, island of the U.S. Virgin Islands down in the Caribbean, and we had been down there for over 8 years at that point. And all our kids graduated from school down there, and that's where she worked and all. But that had kind of removed us from family and friends up here in the States for almost a decade. And so that was another motivating factor, was we were like, okay, the kids are grown and on their own and we should maybe go back and kind of reconnect with all our friends and family and stuff up in the States. And so that was a huge motivating factor for us too.
Nice. So tell me, when you started traveling, did you immediately start the site, or did one come before the other?
No, that's really funny. I had a web design firm when we lived in Nashville, Tennessee, and then, did technology. That was what I ran or helped run, was on the technology team of the school that my kids, and so it just was a real natural thing for me to kind of start a blog, and it was real simple. It was just kind of to keep our family up to date, where we were, what was going on, and kind of hey there kind of stuff. And I don't know 6 months into it, we got this comment from somebody we didn't even know, and then it kept happening, and we're like, what's going on? I mean, I had no idea, so I called my oldest daughter, who's a tech head too, And she basically said, Mom, you got to start social media. You got to start doing this. You got to start doing that. And I had no idea. I mean, all I knew about Facebook was that the kids at the school weren't allowed to be on it at the school. And that's all I knew. Yeah. So she ran me through the ropes, and, we got pretty good at it, but it just kind of really weirdly, organically grew. It was very strange.
Yeah, the whole thing did. I mean, because the beginning of traveling was really just, again, saying, okay, well, how do we see our family and friends that we hadn't seen? We just had the idea of, well, what if I actually had the idea, I think she thought I was crazy, but what if we just get an old used motorhome instead of trying to fly everywhere and rent cars and stay in hotels and do all of that, and we'll just drive it till it blows up and dies, or if we see everybody and we're done, we'll sell it back again. And we found this beat up old thing on eBay, believe it or not, and bought it from a guy in Chicago for $3,200 and just took off. Oh my gosh. And I mean, and it, we had to do a few little things to it here and there. I mean, every now and then I'd be underneath it in a parking lot, putting on a new alternator or something. But when we finally, after about, 8 months or so, we were out on the West Coast visiting her family, and that was kind of the last on our list of all the people to see. Okay. And we had one or more of those look at each other and go, now what moments, And it was like neither of us wanted to just sell the thing, so we thought, what the heck, we'll just keep going until it dies.
And Becca, this is wild. As scared as I was to do it in the first place, to just take up risk, now and starting with that moment of realization, I'm now more fearful to stop. I can't imagine living in one place.
Yeah. It just kept on going and going, and we ended up running for 70,000 miles in 3 years on that old motorhome. It finally did die, but once it did, we were kind of already hooked on the whole situation.
Absolutely. Well, when you finished in North America, where did you go off to? Was there someone in charge of the planning of, hey, we're going to Norway, or do you just fly by the seat of your pants?
We're kind of fly by the seat of our pants. We're very fly by the seat of our pants. I guess the really first, we've gone to Europe quite a bit, and David used to do business in Europe quite a bit. And, so we were going to Europe because we were comfortable with that. And then
I could still get paid to
and he would pick up some gigs and that kind of stuff. So that was really nice. And, we just, last year we went to South America and spent a month down there, and that was amazing. And we've got Asia coming up in a week.
Yeah.
So, and obviously we're not in our motorhome at that point. Right. We have to rely on, normal people transportation.
So you've been to a lot of places. I don't know if you could do this, but could you narrow down to your top 3 favorite places that you've been?
Top 3.
Or your favorite adventures?
Okay. All right. The place that I think I connected with the most, that I didn't ever dream that I would connect with, was Prague in the Czech Republic. Mm-hmm. Absolutely amazing. And I grew up, my great-grandmother came from there. And, my mom, still cooked traditional Czech cuisine and all of that. But it wasn't like I had a real I'm going to the motherland or whatever, but it turned out I went to the motherland. It was just amazing. I mean, I connected with it. It's so beautiful. There's influences from all over the world. It's just an absolutely magical fairy tale place. And I just love it. It's a real
crossroads of Europe, too. It's the mixing of the cultures there is really amazing. And historically goes back centuries, too. So it's
right.
It blows you away. Every time you turn a corner, you're just newly blown away. Yeah. It's just amazing.
And to me, then the Galapagos, which we saw last year when we were down in South America, we spent a week on a little boat just going from island to island. Totally different reasons than something like Prague, of course, it's devotion at all, but absolutely unbelievable. And not just the animals, but just the scenery and the geology of it, and crossing the equator and going back and forth.
Oh, nice.
It's really all kinds of
let
cool stuff there.
Let me ask you this. So you said you were on a boat. The two of you, do you have a guide on the boat, or is it just you guys get there and you two jump on the boat and whatever happens?
No, it was a group. It was a group on the boat. You have to go in groups on the boats to protect the environment. They've started that in the past, I don't know, 8 or 10 years ago, whatever. They stopped letting people just kind of flood onto the islands at will.
Okay.
Luckily so, because then this way, every island is designated a certain number of people per day that can go there. And so the groups, the tour operators, get with each other and schedule it out. So there's never more than maybe 50 people at an island or whatever.
Fantastic. So
it's really neat. And we went with a group called Road Scholar.
Okay.
I don't know if you've heard of them, but it's just absolutely amazing because they cater to lifelong learning. I mean, it's for, I don't know, old people like us. So it's, we didn't end up on a party boat, which was going on with one of the boats that, we were there. I mean, it was just a really good experience. It catered to people like us that want to learn as much as we can about a place. And
it was a really great group of people.
Yeah.
Very, people that had traveled quite a bit too. So they were seasoned travelers, but really interested in learning about places.
What's your number 3 place? That's absolute favorite.
We probably wouldn't agree on it. I think mine would be South Louisiana, New Orleans, but outside of New Orleans too, in rural South Louisiana. I've always loved it down there.
Okay.
Years ago, I used to work down there a lot. I'm not sure. I think hers might be.
Are you in agreement, Veronica?
Yeah, I know. I mean, I would say I really like that area too, but it would be more New Orleans. I mean, not that I have any, I love that area, definitely.
Yeah.
But I don't know, New Orleans, the food. I mean, I could go there, park the RV, and gain 20 pounds in 2 weeks and be just waddling around happily.
Never leave Central Groups.
I mean, it's just the best food town, I think, in the States.
Yeah,
I mean,
Yeah, I would agree. All right, let's go through a bit of a speed round because you've been to so many places and you've been doing this since 2008. I'm going to go through. Give me the first answer that comes to your mind. So for your adventures and your trips, what was the most adventurous?
paragliding off the sea cliffs in Lima, Peru.
Yeah, that would happen.
Done and done.
It's hard to do something stupider than that.
Let's go to the opposite. What was the most peaceful? What trip made you feel rejuvenated?
I don't think we do peaceful, do we? I don't think we do peaceful.
Okay.
Yeah, so we can do that in 20 years.
Okay.
Good, okay.
No, we're usually
popping to mind. Yeah, we kind of run ourselves ragged usually.
Okay, sounds good. So then what is the most, I think we might already have the answer, what's the most foodie type trip where you have the best food? Is it?
Oh, the best, like single thing?
Where you could literally gain 10 pounds.
In southern France.
Yeah, we found ourselves right outside of Marseille, the little town, the little beach area where bouillabaisse was actually invented, or at least that's the fable, the story goes.
Yeah.
And it
where
rocks.
fishermen would come and just throw the fish into a big pot on the beach, and cook it in the seawater. And so we found this little place that's right on the beach that does it. They
Nice.
They're a little more civilized. That was
It's a 3-hour experience, and oh my gosh! And sorry, it's a speed round. Sorry, go.
Let's keep going. Let's keep going. We've got a lot to cover. All right, what's your most scary moment? Scary moment.
That had to be that when I watched David almost fall off the sea cliffs.
I did kind of go off, but I'm thinking the first thing that jumped in my mind was we had a big buck deer run
true.
alongside of the motorhome right by Mount Rushmore, and then he just turned and ran right into the door of the motorhome. So it wasn't like I hitting him because he got up and ran away. I think he was fine, but he just ran square into my door. I'm driving along. I'm looking at this deer just running next to me.
Okay, so you're driving and the deer is running alongside of you.
Yeah, right. I could hear, my window was cracked. I could hear his hooves on the
Holy
road.
crap!
As we're going along. And then
That's what he said, except me. No, it wasn't.
And then, he was staying right with us, and then he just turned and ran square, and sounded like somebody hit the door with a baseball bat. It was
He
crazy.
attacked
It was
us. We had
crazy.
a deer attack.
Yeah, it was crazy. So, and needless to say, my heart was going pretty good at that point.
I would imagine. All right, what was the place that had the best view?
Oh, wow.
Yellowstone? Glacier National Park. We just got back on Amtrak's Empire Builder.
At the bottom of Lake McDonald, they're looking up the lake.
Yeah.
Pretty darn good.
And you take the train right through Glacier National.
Is that the only way that you can see the Glacier National Park is by Amtrak?
Pretty much. You can kind of get along on the edges, or if you're really crazy, you can snowshoe, which that ain't gonna happen.
Right. Well, in the summertime, you can get in much better. In the wintertime, there's only a few miles of the road is open, and so the train is the best, by far the most comfortable way.
Yeah, the warmest way.
And what I love about being on your site, so I'm a train nut. David, you're a train nut as well. There are actual videos of the Gypsy Nesters on the Amtrak Empire. Is it Amtrak
Empire
Builder, right? With them taking a tour on the train, the little room. It just seems so quaint and so exciting to take a trip that way. So you guys check it out on their site. So I imagine there's a lot of people who want to live. They'd say, okay, that's great. You guys are doing that, but I've got to hit the cubicle. So I imagine there's a lot of people living vicariously through you. What's the best advice you could give to someone who says, you know what, I do want to incorporate more travel into my life? Where should they start? Should they get an RV? Should they just book a trip to Europe? Where should they start?
It's different for everybody, of course. If you have the resources and the curiosity and the desire, book a trip for a week or two to some cool place around the world. But we have an article on our site, a post on our site called Gypsy Nesting in Your Own Backyard, which is the kind of thing where you take a Saturday or a weekend or whatever and find the stuff that's cool that's right near where you live. Because, everywhere we go, we find really interesting, fun stuff. And obviously people live right in that area. And we know, too, from when we were living in Nashville or even in the islands, oftentimes when you live there, you just ignore the stuff that's right around you. You don't see what's in your own backyard. And so really a great way to start is do that. Commit to just seeing what's in your own backyard. Go find it.
But in a broader sense, gypsy nesting isn't just about traveling. It's about, opening up your world. If you've got that book in you, write it. Get out there, write it. Step outside of your comfort zone, and don't let emptiness syndrome get you. I hate that term, but don't let it get to you. You've got to cut those cords that keep you from growing.
Yeah.
And so gypsy nesting could be volunteering in your community. It could be, there's, the sky's the limit. And I say get out there and do it. Get out there and do it.
Yeah, just do it. Yeah. Try something new. I think we're finding more people willing to say, okay, there's got to be something different. I've got to try something new. But it's really people like you being on the web and being very vocal in your story that is inspiring more people to do it.
That's kind of cool.
And people don't need to do it the way we're doing it. They find your own way. And we really didn't plan this way either. It just kind of happened. So let it happen and see. Go with the tailwind.
Yeah. And the hardest part is the first step. It really is. Because trust me, I was so fearful. I was so homebody. And making that decision just to do it. Mm-hmm. And then the fears kind of go away to an extent, but it's that first step, that very first scary step that you got to get past. And a lot of times it's just, I'm going to do this. And that's all it is.
Yeah, jumping off is the hard part.
Yeah, but once you commit, I feel that once I commit to something, there's a saying, I don't know who says it, Providence moves. So it's just really physically, mentally making that commitment. And my favorite author, Seth Godin, says, go, do that. My favorite quote.
It is really that
that.
simple. It sounds, that sounds kind of cliched and goofy, but
It's
it really
simple.
is that simple.
But I love your advice. Go write that book. Go try something new, a new class, or try it out. A lot of folks have public transportation trains in their own neighborhood. Jump on a train, see where it takes you. Make no plans.
Yeah.
I mean, that's awesome advice. So you guys are doing such brilliant things. What's up next? Any new trips, any new adventures for you guys coming up in the coming months?
Yeah, we're going to Asia.
Well, this one's really wild because it's not one we really thought about. I mean, it kind of fell in our laps, and when the opportunities like that happen, then yes, you should take them. So we're going to see things that I don't even really know what to expect. Hong Kong and Shanghai and Beijing, the Great Wall,
Forbidden Palace.
South Korea.
Yeah, we're going to South Korea
too.
which I never, it's kind of wild. I mean, we had a cruise ship company. I guess we can plug them. Holland America.
We probably should.
And we were thinking maybe we wanted to do Panama Canal because that's bucket list for David big time. And they said, well, what about Asia? You want to go to Asia? And we're like, yeah, we want to go to Asia. We're going up the Volendam, is that how you pronounce it? Yes, Volendam, the MS Volendam, and
we leave next week to fly over.
So we're really excited.
Holy crap! You guys are doing. Can you just put me on the ship somewhere and hide me in there? I'll come with you.
I'm not sure what happens to a stowaway in Shanghai. Historically, it's not been good.
Okay, maybe another trip. That's probably the worst trip I could be a stowaway.
Maybe Turkey.
Okay, we'll try Turkey or the Panama Canal.
Turkish prisons are nice, right?
Yeah,
they're notoriously good.
Yes, famous.
As long as I have a blanket and some food, is that too much to ask for in prison? Possibly. Okay, so you have the Asia trip coming up. So tell us, you're out and about all the time, but you guys are really active online. How can people get in touch with you if they want to find you?
Well, the best way is on our website, gypsynester.com, and there's email on there, or there's comments on all of the stories there, and we go every day and answer and talk to people. We make a real effort to be interactive with people and to stay engaged with people.
And we tweet, and we Facebook, and we YouTube, and we're easy to get a hold of, definitely.
Usually, I mean, we have some little tricks that we have a little Wi-Fi hotspot that works from cell phone signal.
Perfect.
That's a godsend because otherwise,
so these guys are really accessible. So if you guys have questions about what they're up to, what they're doing, I tweet with these folks, I Facebook. They're on. I mean, it's incredible that they're in the farthest corners of the earth and they'll respond your tweet pretty quickly. So
iPhones are amazing, aren't they?
Reach out to these guys. I'm going to put all of your YouTube, your Facebook, all of it down below, the exact links for people to get a hold of you. And then one last question. So since you guys are out and about doing all this, what's your favorite tech tool?
We like our hotspot.
I think those
That's
two,
great.
the hotspot and the iPhone, really we couldn't live without. I mean, obviously, of course, the hotspot's no good unless you have your laptop with you too. But having the ability to make your laptop actually go on the internet almost anywhere. I mean, we have found, if you're out really remote places, then with no cell phone service, then but generally the iPhone and our little, what do they call it, MiFi.
Then you
are indisposable. I mean, we could never. There's no way we could do this without them.
Perfect. I love that.
And then my non-tech thing, which I could never live without, is my inflatable neck pillow.
Hey, it's all technology. So.
It's pretty low tech.
It's pretty low tech, but it's you have to.
Yeah.
You can't show up at your destination. all hurting.
That's perfect. And for someone who, you guys have packed everything up, and so you have to keep a pretty streamlined amount of stuff and luggage, and so the fact that it's inflatable helps give you more room in your suitcase too. So get yourself a MiFi spot. Get yourself an inflatable pillow. If you have any questions about that hotspot, I actually have a hotspot too. Let's discuss it below in the comments about how that works. Any questions you guys have. So Veronica, David, thank you so much for being on here and sharing gypsynester.com with us. You guys go check it out. And until tomorrow, I'll see you guys later. Bye.
Thank you, Becca.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.